welcome to DIPLOMATA. I'm Francis Une. Timor-Leste this year embarks on a new journey in advancing its development by taking the biggest financial aid in its history since independence. This time, the provider is the Millennium Challenge Corporation, mostly known as the MCC. The project is aimed at helping this tiny country improve its water and sanitation system in the capital and to better the quality of education. In this episode, I'll be talking to two of the key people within MCC who would kindly give us an insight on what is going on with the program. Welcome to the program, sir, and thank you very much for giving us your precious time to do this interview.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate being here and the opportunity.
Just for the interest of the audience, let me start by asking you, talking about what the MCC is and what does it do, and also why MCC?
So MCC, or the Millennium Challenge Corporation, is an innovative and independent foreign development agency of the United States government. We have, since 2004, we have partnered with 49 countries, totaling over $15 billion, and looking to impact the lives of 215 million people around the world. We have a unique model, only partnering with countries that share our values, countries like Timor-Leste, and very pleased to be here and to be able to talk about this and about MCC.
Among the 49 countries that the MCC is working with, which countries receive the biggest assistance programs, sir?
It's varied. Because we have a number of two programs, right? There's a threshold program, which is generally smaller amounts. I think, as you may know, MCC worked with Timor-Leste on a threshold program from 2010 to 2014, where we worked on anti-corruption efforts as well as immunization in the country. And part of the purpose of a threshold program is to work with the country to understand how they work, the political will, if you will, and whether they're a partner that could be ready for a compact program. And so the compact program is the larger of the two, and this is a significant grant investment within the country, looking to make change in the priority areas that the country has identified. Right? This model is really country-driven, country-led. And so in the case of Timor-Leste, we have a $420 million compact that's working to address the priorities of water and education.
If I can just ask a simple question, why is it called compact rather than a proposal?
A compact, which has been in our statute since 2004, is really meant to convey that partnership, that we are in a binding agreement, a compact with the partner country and MCC, that we are working together on the problems that we've identified in the country to make change.
In what areas does MCC work on? Is there a limitation to certain areas that the MCC cannot help countries on?
Do you mean by sector or?
Yes, by sector.
By sector. The short answer is no. MCC works in a variety of sectors, and different countries will prioritize different needs and identify different constraints to their economic growth, which is contributing to poverty. So that may be access to electricity in one country. It may be the transport infrastructure. Again, it will vary, and MCC has worked across a number of areas. But focusing on water and education, which are the the two areas that we're working on here in Timor-Leste, those are also areas that MCC has worked within countries around the world. In fact, for water, I believe we've done $1.4 billion in water programs in different countries. Education, we've done $1 billion in programs in different countries.
With the identification of the sectors for the compact, you mentioned earlier that the countries identified their own needs and put the proposal to MCC. However, is there any role at all for MCC in that process of identifying the sectors that is in need of help by the MCC?
So MCC works very closely with the partner country, right, through a number of stages, going from trying to identify, for example, what are the constraints, right, in a country? What does the country identify as the constraints? What then, as a next order, what are the root causes of those constraints to growth? And what then are the programs that could be designed to address those constraints? So throughout the process, it's a dialogue between MCC and the partner country to see where the intersection is of the country's needs, what they would like to see prioritized, what MCC may be able to do to support that. And then the result of that process is the focus sectors and the focus projects that we're working on.
Apart from that, the dialogue, is there any other filtering mechanisms for the proposals, for the compacts to be approved?
Well, there are a number of filters that MCC applies. I mean, first and importantly, I want to take a step back because MCC doesn't work everywhere. We only work with selected countries and countries that share our values. Countries that are committed to good democratic governance, that are committed to economic freedom, and that are committed to investing in their people. Those are values that Timor-Leste shares with MCC, which is why we selected the country to work on the compact. As we're designing the compact, it's important that the country also implements the program consistent with values. And here, let me give you two more examples. There's transparency, right? That the programs are done in an open and transparent manner, meaning that we consult with the local communities. We engage with civil society and other local stakeholders to get their input on the project and what the impact would be. Is it consistent with what they're seeing, with what we hear from the government? And then also, ultimately, there's accountability, right? That we're implementing the program and that we're accountable for the results. That's both with respect to the partner country and MCC. And we examine the program. Did we have the impact that we wanted to have? If we didn't, why not? And be transparent and open about that and accountable to our stakeholders as well as to the folks that we're looking to impact on the ground. And consistency with those values is, again, a reason that we're here partnering with Timor-Leste, because they've demonstrated that commitment in the program, in all of the work that we've done, all of the work that's continuing right now, and of course the very hard work that'll be ahead of us.
Let me take us back to the first stages of the relationship between Timor-Leste or other countries who are beneficiaries of the assistance program. How does the relationship start? Do these countries come and approach MCC? How does it work?
Sure. So it'll vary. I think in general, countries are aware of the program. They're aware of the benefits of the program, the potential for impact that it could have. And so we'll often get countries who reach out to us and want to know what they can do to be eligible for a program. So within Washington, D.C., for example, we'll often meet with members of the diplomatic corps, ambassadors from particular countries who want to understand how they could qualify for that very selective model that I alluded to earlier. I think, as you may know, we have a scorecard that we publish each year on countries' performance on a number of indicators and what you must do to pass the scorecard. Again, all public and transparent. And so, for countries that may not meet all the requirements, they'll want to come in, they'll want to know, and we'll have that dialogue. And as they continue to make progress, they may then be eligible for selection.
Within Timor-Leste, there have been a criticism that a lot of assistance programs have spent most of the funds, not locally, but rather in the host countries, the funding providing countries themselves on administration, on advisory needs, on other things. Our current president, Dr. Jose Ramos Horta, has also once spoken out about that. How does MCC ensure that that's not the case with the MCC assistance program?
Yeah, no, thank you for that, because it's a critical issue within development to make sure that the targeted dollars are going to the program and to have the impact that you want to have. And again, I'd like to emphasize the country-led model associated with that. So, for example, one of the next steps that we will do as part of the Timor-Leste program is to transition from this development phase towards implementation to set up a Millennium Challenge account here in the country that will be composed of Timorese individuals who will be heading up the program. Another aspect is that the associated construction contracts, right? That those are done in an open and transparent manner for bids with a level playing field, so that any companies, contractors and subcontractors could work on those types of things to again ensure that we're having the impact that we want to have on the ground and in our partner countries.
On this particular compact that you are going to sign, why for $420 million? It's such a large amount of assistance, funds in assistance. Probably the first in the history of the country receiving such a large amount. My question is why? Is it just purely because of the proposal being put forward by Timor-Leste? Any other factors that contribute to the decision?
Well, if I may, the $420 million compact, as you alluded to, is the largest U.S. development contribution in the history of our 20 years of bilateral relations. And it really is, it's a function of the scale of the program, right, and the need being identified to undertake the works, that is, with respect to the water, sanitation, and drainage project, right? These are large projects. This is large construction, right? This is building the first centralized wastewater treatment facility in the country, right? This is improving drainage and having over 100 kilometers of associated pipes and culverts to do that, right? This isn't just MCC. I mean, I want to recognize and appreciate the government of Timor-Leste's contribution of $64 million to augment the water project, looking to make the household connections, right? So that at the household level, folks can get clean water and access to this. The impact, let me just talk about the water project. The impact that we expect to have ultimately is that Dili, population of Dili and surrounding areas will have access to clean water. That's a huge undertaking, right? That's approximately 500,000 people who will benefit from having access to clean and safe water. If I may, with respect to education, it's a smaller project in terms of size at about $40 million. But again, the impact can be transformational. We're talking about improving the quality of teaching, but also leadership within the secondary education, the high school system as we would call it, that will touch every single secondary school in the country and also impact hundreds of thousands of individuals. So all in, the compact is looking to impact over 1 million Timorees. And to have that type of impact with the constraints that were identified, right, that's what led to the size of the program.
So how confident is MCC that this program will be successful?
So I'm sitting here today very confident that it will be successful, because that's what we expect. We expect to have impact and work closely with the partner country to design a program that will be successful, that will achieve the impact that we're looking to have. Now, I'll be frank, it's not easy, right? These are not easy projects to undertake. There has been a lot of work undertaken to date, and while this is a momentous occasion, and I'm really pleased to be here in Dili to sign the compact, to talk with you, to talk with other members of government, civil society, there's a lot of work still ahead of us. There is ongoing work. Just today, there are critical milestones that will be achieved in the weeks and months ahead. And then when we really start with the 5-year implementation clock. And the 5-year clock, that's imposed on us by our statute and our authorizing legislation. So we need to do all the work necessary for these large projects. Again, we want to get it right. This is about quality, right? And having the quality impact that we're looking to do. And that takes time, and it's complicated, but I remain confident it'll be successful.
One of the issues that has been highlighted by many people, especially from the assistance receiving countries, is the fact that many projects or many programs collapse or fail in the period after the funding of the projects. How does MCC ensure that wouldn't happen with this particular one?
Sure. No, again, a vitally important issue, because one of the things we're focused on is the long-term sustainability of the project. So, one element, for example, of this project is focused on strengthening the institutional framework at the government level to ensure that the necessary changes have been made to continue, right, with the sustainability and looking at the investments, the maintenance, those types of issues associated with the project, so that it doesn't fail and so that it does continue to have impact and really deliver the results that we want it to.
What do you think could be the challenges for Timor-Leste in implementing this large support assistance program over the next 5 years?
I think the challenges surround some of the complexity of the project, and I think one of the other challenges, frankly, is probably impatience. Right? People want to see the impact, but with a project of this scale and complexity, it will take time. I think people will see, for example, they'll see construction on the roads before they'll see the benefit, right, of the culverts and the drainage that have been installed and getting the water connections that result after it. So there is a complexity to it that I think will be challenging, but I know that we at MCC look forward to working with our Timorese partners to address those challenges and to ensure the project's successful.
And just to wrap up, in the short period of time of your visit, what can you say about Timor-Leste? What have you seen in Timor-Leste?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. It has been short, but I have to say it's been an incredible trip so far. I've met with a number of people, government officials, of course, to discuss the project, and that was important, and I appreciated it. But frankly, I enjoyed getting out of those meetings and getting out into the neighborhood. In fact, yesterday we went and visited some of the areas in Dili that could receive some of the benefits of the water project, and to be able to see the challenges right firsthand, but to also meet the people and see their appreciation and frankly hope with the impact, to see some of the kids who were following us around with great excitement, and to know that the project is to improve, the water project, this is about health, right? This is about improving health outcomes ultimately. And so to think about those kids and others being beneficiaries was immensely gratifying to me. In fact, we hit the Tice Market this morning. That was also an amazing experience for me to see that recognized cultural piece in action. Seeing some of the women weave them and understand more about its cultural significance. So I've had a very pleasant trip so far. I've appreciated the warmth of all the people, appreciation for us being here, and so it is with regret that I will leave, but I look forward to my next trip.
Thank you very much. It has been a very pleasant conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the time. Again, it's been a real pleasure to be in Dili, be in the country, and to be here and have this conversation with you.
Bem-vindo! Arro Oimba-Oim, acesso Benjamin Laos de televisão, rádio, jornal, ao website na mídia social, MyBimos e aplicação telemóvel. Agora, itabela informação roto-se GMN e a aplicação Fongunarang, GMN News and Entertainment. A aplicação Fongdene tahu muito conteúdo roto GMN Yanesang, live TV no rádio, jornal digital diário no semanário, no nosso conteúdo sira husi mídia social. E na aplicação média da Hulu que é Timor-Leste. Laos de Tuluk Liu, mas bem fácil Liu, mais Liu, completo Liu, no barato Liu. Oi, satu é a aplicação, né? Fácil. Ba Android, download the Play Store. Ba iOS, download the Apple Store. Ba versão Android, aplicação GMMOS, bele download o seu website gndiario.tele, ka gnseminario.tele. Oi, satu tama, ba hira download na aplicação, hatama, username no password. Bem ir tama no conteúdo, bele hili qualquer menu e da husi icon sira husi parte okos. Husi parte caro, hot news ka destaques, tu ir mais jornal digital diário no semanário, tu ir mais live TV, live rádio no social media. Tu ir mais notícia favorito no Icosliu, informação com a conta. Hakara kita informação nebe claro, bele contacto para departamento comercial GMN, o número de contacto hitualo, nem, ida, ka, hituhat, ruatolo, ida. Kabelemos, liga ba, tolu, ida, hat, ida. Itabot siramos bele manda mensagem ba número WhatsApp, hitualo, nem, ida, ka hituhat, ruatolo, ida. Com a aplicação Gemenian, itabot sira bela heta notícia dahulu, lais liu, completo liu, custo nível barato liu. E a vantagem boa, poupa tempo, poupa osan. Cara que interessa a tu acesso a minha aplicação, ami ia pacote macanesan tuir maine. Pacote fulangida, ho following $1 americano nem. Pacote fulantolo, ho following $1 americano sanulores nem. Pacote fulang neng, ho following $1 americano tolo nulu, lo íamos pacote tinaida, ho fallen dolar americano $5.5. Download Loke Uza Asilio Ilaishliu Jemen Lori Timor Bamundo.
Thank you very much. You're still with me on Diplomata. Thank you and welcome to the program. Let me begin the conversation by getting you to tell us about who you are within the Millennium Challenge Corporation Circle in Timor-Leste.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me at JMN for this program. My name is Constancio Pinto. I am the National Executive Director of Compact Development Team Timor-Leste, a unit which is under the tutelage of the Presidency of the Council of Ministers, tasked to prepare the Compact Agreement for Millennium Challenge Corporation.
And when you say prepare, what does that mean?
Well, as you know, we have just signed the Compact Agreement on July 19th with between Timor-Leste and the United States. This is a landmark agreement between the two countries since we established our relationship, diplomatic relation. Not one, but the biggest assistance ever given to Timor-Leste by the United States of America. MCC itself is an autonomous agency set up by President Bush while he was still president to support the development in the developing countries. MCC provided assistance to many countries already in many areas, investing in water, sanitation, drainage, electricity, the power supply, schools, technical vocational training centers, and many more. Yeah, and ours, Timor-Leste Compact, will be focused in two areas, which are water, sanitation and drainage, and education. When you ask what I mean by preparation, this agreement that we have just signed, we have prepared it since 2019. When the government, the 8th constitutional government, set up the CDT, which I led. So I have a team of 10 people. We worked on this, preparing the proposals for MCC. First for the government itself, and then to MCC. While doing so, we were working together with many other ministries, relevant ministries, and also, of course, with the assistance of MCC. Basically, the agreement is a collective effort of everyone to get the compact agreement ready. But of course, the CDT, TL Timor-Leste, which I led, is in the core of the process. And we are very happy to have it signed. If it was not COVID, we would have signed the agreement in 2021, but because of the COVID, it's been delayed. But the most important thing to note here is that even though we had this COVID situation, CDT team continued to work together with MCC and also with other institutions like BTL, Timor-Leste, Ministry of Education, of Higher and Secondary Education, Minister of Public Works, and of course the Presidents of the Council of Ministers, and many other ministries as well. So, because of this collaboration, made our work easier during the COVID.
This particular assistance has been the biggest in history, not only Timor-Leste assistance history, but also the history of MCC itself. From a Timorese perspective, why Timor-Leste?
The United States has made its commitment to assist developing countries, to assist the economy through to enhance the economic growth through investing in people. And the United States believes that the MCC program, the Compact program, is another way for U.S. to assist developing countries. Why Timor-Leste? Well, I think it is because of the first because of it's a new country, and the United States is willingly to assist us. And this is also shows to us that our diplomatic relations is one of the perhaps the best in our history of diplomatic relation. Is there any other interest behind it? I don't see so. I think the United States would be very happy to see Timor-Leste becoming a democratic country, true democratic country, a country that respects human rights and democracy values, and respect and that promote the equal rights and gender equality and all of this. Basically, that's the core values that the United States defends, and everywhere in the world, the democratic values and respect of human rights. I think that's what the United States want to say. In fact, prior to this agreement, years ago, Timor-Leste was selected as a threshold country. The threshold country, we benefited from it of $10.5 million, which was given to us to combat corruption and improve the health immunization areas. So fighting corruption is one of the priorities for the United States, and I think we know that USAID, another agency that assists Timor-Leste, is also providing assistance in the good governance, for example. So I think that's the reasons why the United States want to assist us. And also because Timor-Leste is, of course, one of the democracy, I think ranked the first in Asia. So I think that's what the United States want to see and continue to and wish that the Timor-Leste will maintain this or even better improve it further in the future.
Let's go back a little bit to the previous program. How successful has it been in the past with the MCC program in Timor-Leste?
Well, it is one of them. I would say the signing of the agreement is one of the success. Now, the successful of the implementation of this compact, which is not a small amount of money. It's $420 million, and then of course the government also put in its contribution. It's about 64 million. So altogether, the investment will be $485 million, which will be implemented within 5 years only. Okay. It's non-negotiable. It's not like ours in Timor-Leste, where our companies, when they implement an activity, and let's say road construction, until the end of the timeline, they would ask for additional. Here, MCC is not going to be that. So, if we finish the money, that would be great for us. If we can't finish the money, it means execute the $420 million, the rest of the money would have to go back to the United States. So it all depends, the success depends on us. This is a program that belongs to Timor-Leste. It's country-owned, country-led. Of course, not country system. MCC will use its own procurement system to do that. So I think it's the best way to do, so to ensure that when we enter into the implementation phases, there will be no interruption. So I always told the MCC people, I said, Timor-Leste must implement all the money, and not a dime will go back to the United States coffer. I think we can do that, as long as there is a consensus, and I'm sure there is a consensus among every politician, civil society, private sector, the people who will be beneficiaries of this. They're very supportive. So I'm sure that we will implement, we will execute all the money, the $240 million from MCC and the $64 million from the government of Timor-Leste, to have our the sewer system established, and to have a center of excellence established and running. And I believe that in 10 years, 5 or 10 years after the implementation of the compact, we will see transformation in our health, in our society, our economy, and transformation in our education system.
Out of the $420 million that would be provided for this program, how much will go to water and sanitation, and how much will go to education?
For water and sanitation is around 360, I believe. I don't remember very well, but a big chunk of the money goes to the water and sanitation and drainage. For education is $40 million.
As the #1 MCC person in Timor-Leste, what instruments, what tools do you have to work with to ensure the success? You mentioned that this must be a successful program by the end of it. How will you work to guarantee that that will be the case?
Yes. Well, I think the best tool would be work collectively with everyone. Yeah, with every stakeholders, with civil society, with the governments, member of government. Of course, this government and the new one that will come in 2023. Not to influence, but to ensure that everyone consider this project as a national interest. Does not belong to anyone, does not belong to any political party, anyone. It belongs to the country. So therefore, this project should be treated as a national interest, that we all have to work together to ensure the success of this. Yeah, and I think it is. The United States is investing. We're together investing in a very in two transformational programs. And I think all of us, we know, every politician, every Timorese, we aspire to have a better Timor-Leste. We have our independence already for 20 years. As we all know, it was not a given. It wasn't a gift. It was through lots of sacrifice, and a lot of people die of this. With one aspiration, that we would want to see a better future of Timor-Leste, and this project, I'm sure that will bring transformation, and it will contribute to the government itself, to the country, to lessen its burden in its own annual budget, for example. Yeah. So now the MCC is tackling the water, sanitation, drainage, and education. Education is basically teachers' training. So the government can put money that's supposed to be for water and sanitation, drainage, for other things. Let's say on the getting the water to every household of Dili, especially in the areas where the MCC investment will occur, because this sanitation depends on water. So every household must have water, running water, 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days, and 360 days. So all year round, because all depends on water. So that means that the government, the MCC is not putting money into that to connect each household for clean water. Yeah. So the government will put the money in there, whether put the money itself or work with other agencies to do that. Because without running water, the MCC project will not be successful as well.
A lot of the times, great projects face challenges, and one of the main challenges is the fact that the counterparts are not ready or are not prepared to work in harmony with the project or the plan. How confident are you that this one will not experience the same, will not face the same challenge?
Well, I'm confident because, again, it is a project that will benefit the people. Okay. And this is what we want, right? This is the government. Every government want to see, that they serve the people. Yeah. So if we try to hinder the process for this investment, it would be counterproductive to our own principles, right? I don't see anyone in the government that does not want to see the people to be benefited from the government programs. Yeah. I don't see anyone in the government that does not have any desire of serving the people. If you're not having this interest, then you better stay away from the government, because the government is to serve the people, and this project is going to is a contribution to every government's efforts to help develop the country. So I think there is consensus in this. Yeah, I would guarantee that if anyone attempted to circumvent this project, it would have a political implication in the future. If a politician do that, it will have eventually political implication. Yeah. Whoever, yeah. So means you go against the will of the people. I want to tell you this. We visited the areas where the investment will happen, and we talked to people about this. We visit their house, how they live, how they access to their water. It's unbelievable to see people living in that horrible conditions for many years. Yeah. And when we talk to them, they said, we can't wait to see this happen in our community. Yeah. So people are waiting for this kind of project. Yeah. So I'm sure that everyone will accept it. But I want to also tell you this, that there will be a new agency. We will establish a new agency called MCA Timor-Leste, which will manage the investments. Yeah. So hopefully that the CDTL Timor-Leste, my team, will be part of that MCA. So they can continue with the work we have been done in the last 3 years to have the compact signed. This is an agency that will will work directly with the MCC, with the government of Timor-Leste, to manage the implementation of this project.
Just to wrap up the conversation, as the number one person again, how do you guarantee that every single penny of this assistance funds will be spent on Timor rather than on advisors from overseas on complicated, complex administration systems and all that?
Right. Well, the money. We all are concerned about money going to advisors, and it's been a disease here in Timor-Leste. A lot of money, of course, run out, because of advisors, foreign advisors. We have advisors that have been advised that for many years, 20 years, and their salary is big. Yeah. Now on this MCC, of course, MCC already put aside the administrative cost to it. The MCC will only have 3 people here in the country. From MCC staff, there will be a country resident, a deputy, and another. That's all. Now, of course, the MCC will have to hire technical people, specialists, in the area of education, in the area of water and sanitation and drainage. By looking at the information, or just by reading the feasibility studies, in fact we work with them, of course, on the feasibility studies. It tells us that, of course, we need to hire specialists from other countries, because it's very highly technical work. Yeah. We want, of course, to have Timorese. We want to hire Timorese. The Timorese should. Yeah. And I encourage Timorese to apply to any position whenever the MCC publish or begin with the procurement for specialists. Any Timorese have to apply for the position. Yeah. To me, it is important to employ Timorese based on their skills, on their experience, so that we can keep the money here. We invest in our people. Yeah. Now, to ensure that every penny must be spent, one thing is we have to be aware of is to comply with the timeline. The timeline. So there will be a timeline for what would need to be done to be finished within 5 years. Yeah. So we have to use every time that we have to finish. Yeah. And one of the things that worries me is the procurement, but I think it's not anymore, because we will be using the international procurement system. Yeah. I know we have our own procurement system, which is good, but sometimes it's complicated too. Yeah. So that's why I think we use that procurement system will help the process. Yeah. I must say that soon MCC will start with procurement for the wastewater treatment center. They will start recruiting people, and so that's, I think, what I like to say in response to your question, whether we can or not spend all the money from the MCC, 420 million. Yeah, it is not easy, of course. It's not easy. Yeah, we want, in our case, in our government, also have difficulties in executing $1 billion in a year. Or 1 million. 1 billion in 1 year. In our case, 5 years for 450 million. I'm not sure. Yeah, but we have to work hard on this. I must tell you that Indonesia, they have received about $600 million years ago, and they didn't spend all the money. The rest of the money went back to Indonesia. $100 million went back. Yeah. So in our case, we have to spend all the money because we need it. Yeah, we need the money.
Well, thank you very much. It has been very interesting, and good luck with your work, sir.
Thank you very much again for having me at GMAN.
The interviews with Mr. Alford as well as Mr. Constancio, I believe, have helped us have a better comprehension on the next 5-year Timor-Leste's MCC Compact. We all believe that the project will be of a great benefit to the people of Timor-Leste, especially for those who need it the most. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed the program. I'm Francis Suni, and I'll see you on the next episode of Diplomata. Bye for now.